10 Personal Finance Myths Busted. Must watch. This video is for everyone who wants to get their finances in order. Here's the thing, I've browsed online for a while and I know many personal finance channels, so-called financial advisors who try to tell you how to manage your money and so on. Do this, spend this, invest in this stock, and so on. The reality is that you can't really assign a spending percentage to everyone. We are all in different situations, different chapters of our lives, and we all have different goals. So you can't just tell everyone to do the same thing. It doesn't work. There are so many false beliefs when it comes to money. Some people think it's somehow evil, others think it's not important, and others think you should stay away from debt at all costs. All of this is wrong, and today I'll take 10 of the most common personal finance myths and debunk them one by one. Let's start, but before we do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Myth 1, debt is dangerous and you should avoid it at all costs. You've heard it many times, I'm sure. Stay away from any form of debt because you'll never know if you'll really be able to pay it back. It's good advice for undisciplined and uneducated people. If you know how to use and manage your money, you know how to use debt effectively. Obviously, I'm not talking about medical debt or student loan debt, which are usually a huge burden for American families. I'm talking about business loans, credit card debt, and so on. In the business world, we have two types of people: those who strongly disagree with using debt to start, buy, or invest in a business, believing you should use your own money to start the business, and those who strongly disagree with using your own money and instead believe you should risk the bank's money. I won't take a definitive position here, but I want to say this: will you really save all the money to start your business? If we're talking about micro businesses, you can do it. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, it takes between $3,000 and $5,000 to start one, but a micro business is no better than a job. It doesn't really give you what entrepreneurship promises. To start a real business, it takes tens and tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds, sometimes even millions. If you have a valuable idea and a good plan, it would be a shame to let it go just because it would take 20 years to save the money to start. I'll let you decide for yourself, but if you intend to use it wisely, loans are a great way to start, buy, or invest in the expansion of a business. Credit cards. Credit cards are a godsend and a devil for most people. Some people stay away from them even if they are in an emergency situation. They are almost afraid of them. If you are one of them, you shouldn't be. Credit cards are a powerful weapon that can help you daily, and as long as you don't overspend and stay disciplined, you should be able to pay them off every single month. On the other hand, if you're not confident enough with your money to use a credit card, you probably should educate yourself before running away. But credit cards are not just a good tool to get out of an emergency or use money when you need it but don't have it. Credit cards also boost your credit score. This is one of the metrics that banks will use if you ever need a loan, a mortgage, or something similar. Credit cards help you build your credit score, which is your reputation and credibility from a financial point of view. Myth 2, buying a house is a dream come true. False. It's no longer the case. For a long time, getting a house was the American dream. It was the goal in life for most people. But in 2021, it's no longer the case. It really depends on what you want from life. Maybe you don't even need to rent one. Maybe you'd be much happier in an apartment or maybe traveling all the time without any real stability. It totally depends on you, but insisting on this with everyone is deeply wrong. You should do what you want to do in a moment like this. Having a house could even be a handicap. You should use it just like you use hotels. When you're done with it, you move on to the next one. Don't buy a house just because everyone tells you it's the right thing to do. Look at what you want from life and decide for yourself if it's a good option or not. It's all about you. Myth 3, gold and other metals are safe havens. A safe haven in investments is an investment that could save you in times of crisis or inflation. In fact, since the coronavirus pandemic started in 2020, people have started investing all their savings in gold, silver, or other metals, thinking it would save them from the crisis or inflation. Well, there are two reasons why this is not the case. 1. During a crisis, cash is king. Having money in the bank during unpredictable periods is peace of mind that you should desire. You never know what happens. If you have a job, you might get fired. If you have a business, you might have to hand over the keys, close it, or maybe you'll need money to pay employees or to invest in something that will help you survive. If all your funds are in some metal, you're not liquid, which is a huge risk during a crisis like this. 2. They are not true safe havens. Let me tell you the truth, financial safe havens do not exist, they simply do not exist. It's proven that gold and other metals will not save you from inflation. Even the price of gold fluctuates, and if you look long term, the price of gold is very volatile. Look at this example here. The chart is from goldprice.org. If you had bought gold in 2001 and sold it in 2010, it would have been fantastic, and you would have made enormous profits. But if you had bought gold in 2012 and then sold it in 2016, you would have lost your money. And just by looking at this chart, you can easily understand that the price of gold is not as stable as people want you to believe, and it's certainly not as predictable. Myth 4. Bitcoin is a safe haven. For the same reasons that gold is not a safe haven, neither is Bitcoin. There are many people who have made money from it and many who have lost a lot of money. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest in Bitcoin if you're willing to study it and understand how it works, go ahead. But just a warning, it's extremely complicated. But if you think that investing your money in Bitcoin will magically save you from inflation, think again. Myth 5. Anyone can start trading or investing. I know the marketing experts and internet gurus are telling you otherwise. The truth is that investing is a really complicated profession. I'm not saying you can't learn how to do it, but if you expect to get rich in a few months, you're wrong. There are people who have become extremely rich in a short time, but these are extreme, exceptional cases. Investing is complicated, and trading is even more complicated. Most day traders don't really make money, and believe it or not, they do it for fun. They literally gamble their money without really understanding the markets and analyzing patterns that they don't understand. Myth 6. Rich people are bad. This is one of the most ridiculous myths. It comes in many forms and sizes, but it always conveys the same message. To become rich, you have to do unethical things, which is very false. It really depends on you to do good or bad with your money. Money is just a tool, and if you have a negative connotation with it, your mindset probably prevents you from earning more. Myth 7. Saving is not worth it with small amounts. This is also wrong. No matter how small your savings are, you must develop the habit of saving as soon as possible. This is the concept of paying yourself first. You can read about it in the book The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. It says that no matter what happens, you must save a percentage of your income before paying anyone else, including taxes and rent. Without excuses, this percentage could be 10%, 20%, or 1%. Develop the habit of putting money away, and you won't regret it. Myth 8. You should avoid risks at all times. Wrong. To grow, there are two things you need to be ready for: failure and hard work. Assuming you're already ready for the latter, let's talk about failure. You should stop being so afraid of it. Failure is not the end, it's a lesson you learn. After failures, you can change your strategy again and eventually reach your goal. But don't misunderstand me, I'm not saying you should start taking random risks. You might also burn all your money. That's not the point. You should always calculate your risk and your risk tolerance. Over time, your risk tolerance will increase, and so will the rewards. Greater risk equals greater reward. Myth 9. You must live below your means to become rich. It depends on the level you want to reach. If you're trying to save money from Starbucks and buy cheap things for the rest of your life just to save a little extra money, you can go ahead and live below your means. But if you're seriously trying to improve your financial situation and achieve financial freedom, you should stop listening to that advice. I'm not saying you should start buying things randomly. I'm saying you should plan your expenses but still buy things that you like and make you happy. There's a concept called practicing success. I want you to do it. To practice success, you start behaving as if you have already achieved what you're trying to achieve. Want that car? Go test drive it, smell the interior, feel the road beneath you. Want a house? Visit one, pretend you're about to buy it. This is the most motivating thing of all, and it doesn't cost anything to try it as long as you're buying things only for yourself, not because of peer pressure. You should be fine. Myth 10. You don't need to analyze your bad financial habits. You do need to analyze your expenses. You don't need to count every single dollar, but even small expenses add up at the end of the month. If you find it difficult to save and you don't analyze your finances, you'll be surprised by how much you could actually save if you stopped wasting money on things that don't really make you happy. You can create a spreadsheet and divide your spending categories into investments, savings, needs, wants, and whatever else. Now you should look at this as how debt can make money in these 10 books with great financial advice. Share your personal experience on today's topic with us. Write it in the comments and ask us any questions you may have, we will be happy to answer. Leave a comment so that we can perfect our creations. We will be happy with your simple like, but the most important thing is not to forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming videos.